Still not exactly sure. Hello, how are you?
Oh, how are you? How are you doing?
Doing okay. Hope you can hear me okay.
You can hear me okay?
I hear an echo. Echo! Echo!
Echo! Echo!
Whiskey, Echo, Echo, Delta,
Whiskey,
do you
Echo,
copy?
Echo, Delta, do you copy?
Stop playing video games, Clay. We're going to start.
Stop playing video games, Clay. We're going to start.
Yeah, you can hear you perfectly, Clay.
Yeah, you can hear you perfectly, Clay. All right, good.
We got echo on Rob's.
This free step-by-step video.
Echo on Rob's
it's
system.
Awesome.
Other than that, it's awesome.
Actually, it's coming from Clay's.
I had a feeling it might.
I had a feeling it might.
You may get booted into another room so that
we're not into another room so that we're not.
Oh yeah, it is. It's
all right. Oh yeah, it is. It's.
So when I talk in mine, it lights up.
So when I talk in mine, it lights up.
Half a second later, it lights up in yours, and you hear the reverb or the echo. Oh wait, where's? Did I start things already? Are we live? I think I did. That's awesome. Yeah, we're live. Whoops. I should have grabbed that before I... Hello and welcome to the Supreme Council of the Master Geeks Lodge, episode 59. I am Bill Kelly, Hornswoggle the Great, one of many council members here tonight on Tuesday night. It's been a long damn day, and Clay and I have been doing car maintenance to the Little Red Ranger since last night, as the tensioning pulley was like hollowed out, so the belt was just kind of flopping around. But we got that all squared away. Everything's fine. Went and tried to rescue a cat. Couldn't find the cat. Kim's going to let us know when the cat appears again in her apartment complex, because its face is ripped open. It looks really bad. Hopefully we can get it to the vet. Also with me, I have, and I want to apologize, Rob, before we go any further, because we totally skipped your intro last episode. I noticed that after we played it back. I apologize.
No big deal.
Okay, then. Go ahead, Clay. Introduce yourself. You're a painter of minis, a haunted house worker, a father of 4. I mean, you have accomplishments. You're an adult dad to 2 adopted cat. You might want to turn on your camera.
Dad to 2 adopted cat. You might want to turn on your camera, though. Okay, hey everybody, this is Clay, Grabthar's Hamsandwich. Just to play on words here. You know what he said about me? I just adopted 2 cats. I just started living with Bill here, Hornswoggle. Just taking life one step.
You're both muted now.
We're both. Oh. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Go ahead, Rob. Sorry, thank you.
No worries. I'm Rob the Blacksmith, and I do quite a bit of metal work. Enjoy my cigars when I am not working for a large hospital network doing IT, and otherwise out there trying to do good deeds in the world.
Good deeds are king. I tried to line up some... I've been really busy this week, and it's normal for me to lock my keys in my car once every 7 months to a year. It is now February 17th, and this month I have locked my keys in my car 3 times. Sleep deprivation rots the brain, but the working man pays the bills. So therein lies the dilemma. So I don't really have a topic for today. I was honestly hoping we could continue with Because not only was it fun to put people on the scale of evil and find out what alignment they were, last week's show took about 5 minutes from my perspective, because before I knew it, it's time to go. Clay, did you have any to add to the list of dudes that you wanted to, Of dudes that you wanted to,
I did not. I did find it fascinating, however, that a lot of the literary characters and movie characters, these are of all of the people that you guys spoke about last week. Those are the ones that I'm most familiar with. I don't know serial killers that well, but it was interesting to see how.
Look at your camera, not me. Sorry.
It was interesting to see how all these movie characters and literary characters did stack up as far as their, I don't know what is your so yeah, that's really all I had to say about that. And I have nothing to. I have no topics.
No, how do I get? How did I do that before? I did this, and I got rid of that. Oh, you just click on it again. Okay. That being said, I mean, it's not, so you're not an aficionado on serial killers, so you weren't engaged to a woman who was obsessed with them and had you buy all the books and then practically read them to you. That's not, that, okay, that's a little weird. But other than that, it's kind of normal, and I think it's fun to assign, like, for example, you've seen Aladdin. Robin Williams gets all the credit for that movie. But Jafar is really a well put together, complex villain for the story. Because in each aspect, he is truly a lawful evil character, but I don't think he would rate very high on the scale of evil as far as level 22. I think he would fit more of like a cult leader to be in around the 13 to 16 neighborhood. Because most of the insidious things he does, he gets other people to do them for him. In the beginning, when the movie starts off and Robin Williams is singing the Arabian Nights song, the dark man waits with a dark purpose. And Jafar tricks the Hazim thief and, tricks him into going into the Cave of Wonders, still trying to find the diamond in the rough. So, in a sense, Jafar is willing to sacrifice complete strangers to meet his goal, but not necessarily put himself in harm's way to have the ends justify the means. So therefore, he falls in line of more of a cult leader or like a Prince John or King Richard III kind of character, where you're not the best human. You're kind of bad, but he's not like running around setting the buildings on fire himself. He has his lackeys and minions do it. So I kind of vote lawful evil for Jafar, and I put him on level 14 on the scale of evil.
I would say lawful evil, but he grew. As the story goes, as the tale develops, he grew and he climbed that ladder quite appropriately, because he was more than willing to soil his own hand as we get to the pinnacle of the film. And then he's tricked into putting himself into a position where he truly does embrace what could have been chaotic evil, except that the rules of the genie do overcome his chaotic evil desires and drives. Mm-hmm. So he is forced back into lawful evil, but he has become the ultimate expression of that if he becomes the jinn. The jinn has an incredible power, but that power cannot be unleashed at will, at whim. It has to be commanded in a very specific pattern. Now, the jinn can take what you say. I wish for this. Well then, because I'm an evil chaotic evil genie, I can go ahead and twist that, and I have given you what you have asked for, but I've also been able to unleash what it is that I seek
I'm
to
going to
do.
give you
So
what
to unleash what it is that I seek
I'm going to give you what you
to unleash what it is that I seek.
I'm going to give you what you
to unleash what it is that I
I'm sorry,
seek.
that's me. I turned on Twitch so I could put a thing on Facebook. I'm sorry, so it started another echo. We don't need any more echoes, thanks.
You're getting the echo because I'm not hearing it, so it's clean. It's clean through this.
Good. It'll be on YouTube and Rumble. Don't worry. Because also, you just made me think of a very valid point, and it made me think of a quote in the movie. Because as much as I want him to be lawful evil, he might be chaotic or lawful neutral. Because what happens when Jafar gets the lamp? He immediately rubs it. He immediately summons the genie, and he starts barking out orders. But when Robin Williams assumes excuse me, my lord, there are quid pro quos, some that he grabs him and, don't talk back to me, you big blue lout. Well, if he was lawful evil, he would want to know exactly what the rules were so that he wouldn't make a mistake. If he's lawful or neutral or chaotic neutral, the end justifies the means.
He would be neutral evil at that point. Okay. Because he's still doing evil. So his ultimate actions are evil. His intention is to commit evil acts. His use of the genie and his unwillingness at that moment to acknowledge or accept the limitation, that would make him more of a neutral. Potentially moving him into the chaotic evil side, because damned be the consequences. I will do this and you will do as I instruct. So he grew to that point, and was at the end, he's hammered into that lawful evil condition where it's like, well, you have all of this incredible power, but it's checked. Here's how it's checked. You can do all of these horrible evil things that you have in your heart and in your mind. But here's what stops you. You must adhere to these rules for those things to take place. You can't do them of your own volition. You must be asked to do those things. Now, how you interpret that request, that's entirely up to your evil heart and mind.
I would agree, because it's the same joke that I make at the Renaissance Festival all day long. You don't just buy an eye patch, you got to earn that eye patch. And I pull open the letter opener. Go ahead and lay your head on the table. Which are you? Right, left, third? What?
So you just don't do this.
Right? Yeah. But I would say that you were correct in the aspect of it's also better because because if Jafar was a hands-on diabolical strangler and a murderer and a knife-wielding lunatic, he wouldn't have the same presence in the story for Disney. I mean, it would be a much darker Disney for one, but for the most part, it would be,
In the original tales, he was bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
And was not unwilling to get his hands dirty, but was also manipulative enough and evil enough to be able to coerce others, to be able to identify the darkness in another and to draw it out and to use it to his benefit, regardless of the result for the person that he was bringing into his particular action. So, Disney can't follow those original tales.
No, they can't. The whole Scheherazade is not mentioned at all in the Arabian Nights at all. Wait, the only time she's mentioned is when Robin Williams sings the "You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me" song. Scheherazade had 1,000 tales. Master, you're in luck. And it's the same kind of premise because that's how she stayed alive.
Yep. Have you come up with those tales?
Telling him the end of the story. She created Dungeons and Dragons 1,000 years before it was created. I'll tell you tomorrow. You'll find out next session. So.
That's right.
So. Sorry, Clay. He has already been bored to tears with me going on and on and on and on geek level maximum overload about this fact. Now, all right, I've only seen the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things. Sorry, I no longer have access to Netflix. Although it is a very good show, I have just not had time or the resources or capability to watch the show. That being said, I do share in the excitement of everybody watching the show, especially gamers that are experiencing Dungeons and Dragons and learning about it through the show. Yes, it's not 100% before the purists start groaning, and I agree with you on that level. But on the other end, it's a world that needs to have people in it for it to be truly epic. And Baldur's Gate and D&D Online and Neverwinter and all of the other knockoffs therein are really awesome. But there's really no substitute for sitting around, pencil and paper, dice in your hand, the thrill of the battle. It's life-changing, man. But it's a lot of fun. And the fact that you're able to bring people in through a show makes it all the more. The reason for this long diatribe is because that I just found out on fucking Monday that the dice that we sell are the same dice, not the exact same dice, obviously, the same type of dice, and they got those dice from Crystal Cast that the boys roll the 4th season 1st episode. It's the giant black obsidian 20 with the red letters that turns into a tiger eye when it finally stops rolling. And now I'm like, Frenchie, why haven't you told me this the first Saturday of the year? I would have been swinging that big dick all through the ship. Oh, stranger things die. You know. So, but because you don't even have to give a hint or hold up a cue, and they start saying Stranger Things, because that's how popular the show is with Dungeons and Dragons. My mustache is doing weird stuff today, sorry. Anyway.
You need to melt another candle.
I know. There we go. Mustache wax. Chicks dig it. So that was really interesting that the dice are the actual same dice. And Frenchie's like, yeah, pretty much I know who ordered them. They're also laid back about it.
That's the nice thing about it is it's the little things that can draw that kind of thing out. But you had made an interesting statement early in your diatribe about purists and claims that I have not seen any of the Stranger Things. So I could not speak to any of that. But I would posit that the original game that Gary built, when he built it, was built in such a fashion and done with such an intent that the rule system, the gameplay system was designed to be broken to a certain extent by anyone and everyone who wanted to play it. So there is no true, pure base Dungeons and Dragons. It does not exist. Yeah. There is a codified set of guidance rules. There's a guidance document that says, this is how you do it. This is how you play. This is the world in which you are going to exist, because I will give you these creatures, these animals, these magical, mystical things to play with. But I also give you carte blanche and the ability to add to and build on and do as you see fit. It wasn't until we got a corporation together that we started getting more entrenched for a time in tighter ruling, tighter control. And then they seem to have stepped away from that in the more recent versions because they seem to have opened up again and given more opportunity to do more things and to enjoy more of it. And that gives the opportunity for the players that have a desire. There are a lot of people out there who would like nothing more than give me the storyline, give me the location, give me the characters, and I will play within whatever parameters you give me because that's what they like to play. That's what many of the first-person shooters want. If they're going to play a tabletop game, they like the idea of the first-person shooter. We have a map, we have an area, we have set rules, we have definitions. This is how we do it because the computer won't allow me to change my 12-gauge shotgun into a Bofors 40 millimeter at the flick of a switch and take out an entire division. So that's where a lot of the first-person shooter types will enjoy it. They like that because, yes, they whether or not they will admit to it,
they love mass carnage.
Like the rules.
Yeah.
Well, they like the carnage, but they like the rules. They want to know that there is some kind of a constraint or control on what can and cannot happen. So it makes it easier for them to wrap their minds around it.
You guys will love this. Okay, I would agree, and I would agree so far as to add the caveat, an addendum. Let's call it an addendum to say that the term rules lawyer, you always think of like Randall and Mrs. Finster, and I use him as an analogy a lot. I was talking about how he's exactly like Paladins from the cartoon Recess. Mrs. Finster, Mrs. Finster. He's the super tattletale. Because most of the rules lawyers, they're playing the game and they're having fun, but as a side quest to themselves, they're just waiting for somebody to fuck up the rules. And that's just wrong, because that's not what the game, like you said, it's not what the thank you, I appreciate that. It's not what the game is for. The only way to not play D&D right is when everyone's not having a good time. And rules lawyers and psychotic people usually are the first that are the fault of that, because they're not using the game for everyone to, you're playing chess. It's 6 of you against 1, but the one guy wants to lose. And rules lawyers don't get that. You're not doing this right. You're not doing this right. You fudge those rules. Dude, it's the story. Let it go. Are you having fun? I am.
Well, and that is a part of, that's the psyche of the rules lawyer. We've spoken on this before because now the rules lawyer tends to be what we have classified as the nerd versus geek. The nerd has this intense knowledge in a narrow scope.
And lords it over you.
Exactly. They need to be recognized as the authority in that particular area. That's at that time. They are the authority, and they seek that anointment from the others. In my job now, I had to dress down senior leadership one time. one of the times that I had to do this, I dressed them down because I mentioned that management had done certain things, and they said leadership. That was their correction. They said leadership.
Leadership.
I said, who? I said, wait a minute. Who identified them as leadership? Because you cannot self-identify as a leader.
It doesn't work that way.
It's not how it works.
It's not how. No,
you can only be identified as a leader by those who are willing to follow you and acknowledge your leadership skills. So if you stand before me now and you tell me I am the leader, I am part of the leadership team, we are the leaders, then I tell you, you have therefore self-identified as a manager. You are not a leader because you do not carry those skills and you do not carry that strength. You do not carry that position, which is not a position of authority that you can be assigned. It is one that you must be given by those who will follow. You have to step in, and they have to be willing to follow you. And in things that I have had to do in my past lives and trainings that I have had, there are those who would step in and self-proclaim their leadership. And in certain circumstances, they would not leave a burning building, or they may not leave a combat scenario because they would be identified as cannon fodder by the rest of the unit. These are people that are scary. These are people that get people hurt physically, emotionally, mentally. They do things with often with a reckless intent. And those are the ones that we have to be very aware of. In the games, your rules lawyers tend to get other players' characters harmed or killed.
Yes.
Because they start causing difficulties, or they put people in a position where it becomes difficult to overcome.
Yeah.
These are the ones that will, in the middle of a grand melee, they'll start arguing with the dungeon master. And the next thing you know, all right, well, suddenly the mind flayer comes in, and you all become, you all are now his minions. Good luck, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, that's very, yeah. It's sad that a rules lawyer can totally destroy a game and a campaign, because eventually the other players are just not. I don't want to show up and listen to these two fucking guys argue about rules for make believe when we could be pretend killing goblins or kobolds or whatever, orcs.
We've all come with the understanding that we have agreed we are going to suspend belief. We're going to enjoy our opportunity to spend time together in a land of make-believe with our own version of Mr. Rogers sitting at the end of the table and telling us to roll a 20 for...
As he introduces us to the people in his neighborhood.
Exactly.
Some of them are made of bone, children. Some of them have no flesh. Some of them are covered with hair and fangs and nails.
I got my King Friday the 13th and Daniel the Tiger finger puppets.
I saw that. We'll have to incorporate those into blacksmithing.
I still am. I am absolutely convinced that our gaming group needs to be King Friday's Merry Marauders.
Except for being sued, I don't. I love that name, actually. But I don't want the Rogers family or that foundation going, what? Okay, law, courtroom. Oh, God. One step forward, 3 steps back. One step forward, three steps back.
All you have to do is remind them, would Fred want you to do this?
Oh.
Would Fred want you to upset an 11-year-old child who's living this opportunity to be in a land of make-believe?
Even if he is in a 52-year-old body.
Oh, no, I'm going to point him right at Isabel and tell him, you tell her she can't be.
You're going to use her.
You tell Isabel that she can't be one of King Friday's Merry Marauders. Please. Tell her that. I want you to do it on national television.
Yeah, I want you to do it via Discord so we can stream it. I'm sorry, little girl, but the law is the law, and I sold my soul for the almighty dollar long ago, so your tears do not affect me.
That's right. And then, then we can tell that person, you may now go back to your home, and
curl back
tonight you will be visited by 3 ghosts.
3 ghosts. One to remind you of everything. One to try to make you feel bad, and then one to make you shit your pants.
So you're going to get Mr. Rogers will come to see you. Yeah. Mr. McFeely will come to see you, and then King Friday the 13th will come to see you.
And then Tim Curry from Legend will come to see you. Do you want to drink blood? Oh my God, get me the fuck home. I can't remember the exact quote, but it's close to it. So, on that note, now that we have decided that Jafar... Oh, do you guys agree with the scale of evil? I know you haven't watched the whole... I'm already boring the crap out of you. Here, I've got another soda. I'm only having one. Oh God! Whoops! I tried to treat my desk like a bar in the movie Cocktail, but it ended up almost going very badly. never do that again. Or I gotta take everything off and sand this down and get rid of that stain. That was actually from tincture. Tincture, it has the THC in it. I know that Zach Galifianakis was a big fan. I got that from, I don't remember who I got that from, but it spilled. One of the cats knocked it over after I had gone to bed. So now that's what this is, this dark, nasty blotch. Oh, I'm going to borrow this for a second. Your battery to charge up your vape pen that I borrowed and lost, and because I'm a great friend, you know.
That's why we ask you not to spill the rot gut whiskey on the countertop. Takes up the finish.
I know. I'm sorry. Again, locked my cars and my keys 3 times this month. Sleep deprivation. I haven't been this tired since I had 2 full-time jobs in my 30s or 20s. Can't remember when it was. I'm so tired.
The most fun is when you get home and you try and start the door with the car key.
Yeah. You get home and then you walk out and you immediately get back in your car and start to go back to, oh no, wait, no, I'm done. Time to make the donuts. Fred the baker from Dunkin' Donuts in the 80s. I already made the donuts. Oh. So, after Jafar, I believe you are familiar with Monsters, Inc. Monsters, Inc., Rob? Randall. Go nuts, guys. I went off on Jafar. Clay, Randall. You got to take yourself off mute. No one can hear you. Monsters, Inc., Rob? Randall. Go nuts, guys. I went off on Jafar. Clay, Randall.
Oh, geez.
You got to take yourself off mute. No one can hear you.
All right.
Is it his phone that's echoing? Oh.
It's actually been forever since I've seen that movie. I remember watching it with my kids. Randall was
the problem is that it's like a delayed echo.
Correct?
Yeah, he was the chameleon.
In the story?
He's the lizard.
Is it his phone that's echoing? How about now? Can you hear me now?
The problem is that it's like a delayed echo.
Yeah. Okay, so he was the chameleon.
Well, no, I mean,
he's the lizard.
I guess those were his actions, his motivations. Okay. Randall would put a little girl in harm's way to save.
The thing is I'm not terribly familiar with the Matrix.
Randall, in a sense, is a lot like
alignments.
The agent character in the movie Serenity. That's the continuation of Firefly. Well, no, I mean, in a sense.
I guess go through his actions, his motivations. Randall would put a little girl in harm's way to save.
But then unmute it.
Is a lot like
it just picks up where it went.
The agent character in the movie Serenity. That's the continuation of Firefly in a sense.
I'm wondering if you walk to the other end of the house, would it affect it?
Why is it doing that echo delay, Rob?
Or I could move to the other end of the house, but then I have to move everything to the other end of the house. Oh, Chris is super busy. He will not be joining us tonight. He forgot to tell us that he was busy. He was so busy, he forgot to tell us he was busy. That's busy. Okay, so when you take... Oh, he can't hear me. He's not sitting next to me anymore.
All right, give us a 1, 2, 3, Clay.
Now we can't hear you.
Okay, how about now?
Oh,
There's still a
we got a delay from the timing from your headphones to your unit, I guess.
All right, can you hear me now? Not at all. Huh.
We've had fun with him joining since we started. Can you hear us? Yes or no? Okay.
Need to get you that central mic back, Bill. That way you could have the central mic sitting and the two of you could be using a single mic to communicate to beyond the camera.
Yeah. I have been telling everyone that came into everybody that came into the pirate shop that'll listen to me that you guys are going to game on Saturday and I'm going to miss it and you're going to play Deadlands and God damn it, I really want to play that game and I'm sad, but I'm going to be dressed in a kilt as a pirate hanging out at the Fair, hanging out at the Renaissance Festival, and there's things that you can do out at Ren Fair that you can't do at an office. And then I flip up the counter, I walk out past the drawbridge and scream pirate stuff at the top of my lungs. And I'm very loud. And then I walk back in and I'm like, do you know how fast HR would come talk to you if you did that in an office? But here, that's totally normal. That's just normal.
Yeah. They get excited if you walk down to the end of the hallway and you just start screaming "Serenity now" as loud as you can. Everybody gets excited. I don't know why. I will never understand it. But you're not allowed to brandish your sword over your head.
Yeah.
While screaming, "Take no prisoners!"
No, you're not allowed to do that.
But then you conference room.
Straight to HR, right to jail, straight away. Yeah, you do that.
HR Panda becomes your best friend.
HR Panda, you can tell me anything.
Oh, I can't.
Honesty gets you fired at work. Time tested.
Right.
Coworker approved.
What's the first rule? Always be the reason for the safety briefing come Monday morning.
Everything was fine until Jeremy did, whatever. Whoever did whatever.
Then
we got. Okay, Clay, try to talk. It might even be just the earbuds. What if you unsync them and just talk normal?
Yeah, we've still got the delay because I can see you talking, but you're not lighting up yet.
Because it's on a delay. I'm going to wait until it plays back, and then I'm going to put thumbs up as soon as I hear him. Oh, no, he muted. That's really weird.
Yep.
Rob's not feeling well. Chris and Guy are super busy. Ron's busy.
I'm going to step away for just a moment.
Better not be a phone call for an hour. Is it? Oh, I'm sorry. It's almost working. I mean, we can hear you. It's technical difficulties, folks. Here in the world of free software. So I cannot talk to him. I'm so exhausted. Yesterday, I got up at 4 a.m. and the day did not end until about midnight. And then to get up again at 7:30 and to go all the way down to 202 and rural and then up to Weber. And Clay was right there with me, man. I'm so glad he took the day off to work to save my ass and get the little Red Ranger back home here. But it was a lot of it's this part. No, it's this part. Oh, I should just get this one. Okay, we don't even need that one. Okay, return that. Get the other one. A comedy of errors. So you just kind of flow with it with life. You can't sit around and cry about it and lick your wounds all day. You have to move on. As much as a hopeless romantic as I am, and I would love to throw myself on a, grouping of swords and be done with it, that's not going to solve any problems, and it just leaves a bigger mess for others to clean up. The best thing I can do is to try to get everything just done, and move on. The less you complain about it and put energy into it, the less it's really an issue. All right, I'm done. Sorry, soapbox away. Go, Clay. Test your audio.
All right, can you hear me now?
Perfect. Your voice and the light match. And there's no echo.
All right. Good.
Excellent.
Yeah, I just had to stick my earbuds back in their box and pull them back out again.
There's a little bit of a delay, but we'll figure it out. Oh, my shoulder. But yeah, with Randall, it's tricky because on one hand, he's a terrible person driving a little girl, and to scream, to get the screams so that they can power the city of Monstropolis. But they're monsters in a sense, so they're all a little chaotic or a little to the darker side, but they're not harming these children. They don't touch them. In fact, they're absolutely terrified of them in the storyline, and that's what makes it even more interesting. But Randall is actually one of those hated heroes where he's trying to save his city, but in the storyline, he's looked at as a horrible villain because he's, Randall's your monster. Because she doesn't see Sully as a monster because he didn't come out as a monster. He came out as, who's in this room? And he just kind of walked away. So he wasn't this big, scary, she calls him Kitty through the whole movie. To her, he's like a giant kitty cat. He's like the Cheshire Cat, only, what is he, 400 pounds, 500 pounds? He takes up the entire doorway, so he would dwarf.
He's Sweetums.
He's what?
He's Sweetums.
Sweet. He really is. Jack, not job, or name. I need sleep. Jack, not name. Jack, job. I fucked that up. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Like and subscribe. Maybe I won't have to work 3 jobs if we get more subscribers. That's I'm going to skip saying that. So, whoops. Anyway.
You'll have to show more skin, Bill.
Okay. Like I did with the last one where I showed my black and blues from instant ratings. Maybe that's why the guys are, no, Rob's really sick. He was talking about it all day. And Chris was like, I forgot to tell you I was busy. I'm busy. I'm like, oh, sorry, man. So, I don't know. Randall might be more neutral good or just neutral. He might not even be at all evil. Because all of his...
I would argue that he is evil because of the actions that he's willing to take to harm others of his own.
Yeah.
So he was willing to kill Scully. He was willing to do all of that to protect himself because he was seeking...
That is true.
He wasn't... Yeah, he was seeking to be the best scare. He wanted to be the best scare. So I would consider him a neutral evil. He didn't have as much of the lawful traits.
No.
He was looking for himself. He was out for himself, and the fact that it worked for the owner of the company was, a happy happenstance. Yeah, this is fine. This works great because now I'm in the good graces of the chief evil. So
it makes him almost like a Smithers character, where would he do evil if Mr. Burns wasn't around? Would Randall in the second movie, Monsters University, which is actually a prequel, he's actually like sweet and innocent and wants to be everybody's friend. And the actions of Sully and Mike kind of turn Randall to the dark side.
Yeah.
So I guess you're kind of right on that. I didn't put it into that perspective. That he's already had a past with Sullivan and Wazowski. They're already familiar with one another from college days.
Yep. So he's in the film, in the first film, in and of itself, my way of thinking with him is that he was always out for himself. He was always, that was the dynamic. He was looking to be the best. And he was willing to do whatever was necessary to be the best. He was willing to break the rules. He was willing to skirt the lines.
Yes.
And then as we found out more, it turned out that he had chosen to align himself with the group that was willing to go even further, even deeper.
Yeah.
To
get the job
justify
done.
their end. Yeah. The ends, in that instance, it's the ends justify the means, and that is rarely, if ever, a valued position.
Yeah, that's built of desperation, but it's also cemented and layered with corruption. Because your main person is your basic street level thug is just going to be Bullseye in the Daredevil movie. They just go and they create chaos, they rob things, they break things, they hurt people, they maybe kill people, they do this, they do that. They're just kind of out there. It takes the supervisor level supervillain and the, Dr. Doom, Silvermane, Kingpin, Mr. Sinister, Apocalypse, Thanos. I don't see Thanos as a yes, the Avenger Infinity War movie and the Gauntlet and everything, but Thanos is we've said this before and we'll say it again. Thanos is a message coded to show the people in high school that were super nerds and in college that if your wish came true and you did get superpowers to fight the people who are oppressing you, you would just become a tyrant, like worse than them. You would not become a superhero. And that girl is never going to love you. She's just an obsession of yours, and to her, you're just this creepy guy. Instead of accepting that and moving on, you're just going to break the rules and change the rules. Because Death is really the only one that takes pity on Thanos in the beginning, but he's kind of an asshole even before they start ostracizing him and making him a pariah. He's kind of like Lobo, where he already has a dark streak to him. There's already a negativity in there. Or Melkor, he's already going to create discord. Whether you gave him all the love of the village or only half the love of the village, he's still going to end up bad.
Yeah, there was a functional misalignment in his understanding of his civilization, his society, because where it was.
Voldemort is a simple villain, even though he is a wielder of fantastic power, because he's basically taking over his high school and his primary school and his secondary school. If you start at Hogwarts at 11 and you graduate at like 18, it's functionally a early junior high and high school kind of scenario. Dude, move on.
Well, he always was. Voldemort, when you look at him, he always was a narcissist. He was a genuine narcissist.
I would never argue that.
And that puts him, in my book, that puts him at least as a neutral evil, because he's willing to do whatever the hell he wants to for his own benefit.
Yeah,
he was more concerned about himself, centralized. He wasn't pure chaotic evil because he wasn't, as we've talked about in other characters, he wasn't out there. He didn't start by torching the building.
No,
he didn't start by impaling anyone and everyone who got close to him.
He started with an open heart and good intentions, and now. And life turned you into an asshole, and you did nothing to stop it.
He didn't get all the cookies. He wasn't the one that was lauded above all others. He wasn't put forward as the best, the ultimate. He had bought into some kind of a narrative that said he needed to be the most important, the most admired, the most lauded, the most whatever. That didn't happen, and therefore everyone is to blame for that circumstance.
I would agree, because that kind of crap kind of starts in 6th grade to high school, and a lot of kids just do not get over that. And it doesn't matter whether it's kids from multiple families or kids that are, only children. It really has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the individual narcissistic ego and the sociopath tendencies, I would agree.
And how it's fed. So if you have a child in this instance, if you have a child with a narcissistic tendency and it's visible and it is not, and the parents and the village, as it were, doesn't take the time and put in the effort to curb the narcissistic tendency, but instead allows it to go unchecked, or worse, promotes it, either through their own actions and statements or through overt promotion of the narcissism. That's where you have the greatest problem. So, we all have some form of narcissistic tendencies in our psyche. But most to the level, where does that level end? Where do we stop ourselves? And what did we learn over time as a child? You think you're the most important because that's your universe. At 2 years old, you learn to speak, and the universe is cookies on the counter. I should get that cookie because I want that cookie. I should be able to take that toy from the dog because I would like that toy. I should be able to do whatever it is I want because I have a very narrow scope and I only understand immediate gratification. And so if that is not curbed, if you don't start to teach that there's a wider world and there are more important things and there are important values, then you perpetuate that. If you take the opposite tack and yes, oh my dear, you should have everything you want. Yes, well, because I get anything and everything I want my children to get anything and everything that they want. We're going to carry that forward. So that's the most frightening thought in the world, is a narcissist raising a narcissist.
Yeah. It is pretty terrifying. I would say that water noose is actually lawful evil because he knows the truth, but he perpetuates the lie. He keeps the propaganda going. We scare because we care. When he knows the truth that laughter is more powerful than fear by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Clay, did you hear any of that while we were... You're still muted. Oh, okay. So, Randall...
I heard all of it.
Right on. Thank you.
No.
I would say Randall would be probably a 13 or 14 on the scale of evil, because he's actually more chaotic neutral in the aspect of, on one hand, he wants to do the bidding of Water Noose, but on the other hand, you're right, he's driven by the need to be number one. So he would want to crush Sullivan on multiple levels. Just defeating you isn't enough. And then after you learn from the Monsters University movie, Mike, the best part about Monsters, Inc. is actually the second movie, because it solidifies the first movie. It gives it one more level of why you fell in love with the characters of the first movie. It's up there with Shrek 2 and Empire Strikes Back. I know I'm Two Towers. I mean, it's that level of second. Okay, have you guys even seen it? Am I preaching to the...
I've seen bits and pieces of it because I have grandchildren.
Okay. And your kids saw it. I mean, they're...
Yeah.
No, Clay, because I think Anna is... You're still muted. Okay.
He's got the delay running.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
It happened again. Because yes, I'm a huge Nathan...
Yeah, I can't figure.
Fillion fan from Buffy on, because that's when you're first introduced to him. He plays the crazy priest that thinks she's evil. and tries to kill Willow and all the other. But it's
Can you
great.
guys hear me now?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yep.
Did you hear us? Do you hear me? Do you care? Love missing persons. 3 super talented musicians. But it's awesome because Mike is such a lazy goof off in the first movie, and then in the second movie you learn that he used to be a fucking studious bookworm that learned every technique and really to live Mike's life and to gain his level of confidence. All of the second movie makes the first movie make sense. Mike is not scary looking. He's creepy. He'll never be terrifying because he's not built like Sully or Randall or Waternoose or all the rest of the guys in the Roar, where they're these large, imposing characters. He's this little guy with one eye. He doesn't even have a nose. I don't think he even has ears or horns. He's just an eyeball, basically. He's round. But he puts in all of his time learning everything there is to learn about scaring before he's even stepped foot in Monsters University. Where in contrast, you're in the second movie, which is the prequel, you're introduced to Mike Sullivan, and Sully is a legacy. Sully's lazy. He doesn't give a crap. He got in there on his father's name. He doesn't have to work hard. It's in the blood. So he's in effect like a lot of those Hogwarts kids that, I'm just going to, I know people. I'm royal blood. I'll get through this. Don't worry about it. Yes, but you haven't done any of the, no, it's formality. Party tonight, And then you go through that transition where Mike gains a superhero level of confidence because he put in all of his time and because he worked so hard to try to be the best. And Sully actually realizes that this guy is the best friend you want to have. He's the guy that'll never give up. He's the guy that'll never stop. You can always depend on him. You can always count on him. He's always there for you. And that's why it gives their friendship such a deep dynamic over 2 movies, because
he's the ultimate sidekick.
But he accepts that about himself in the first movie, or at the end, because he realized there's limitations to yourself physically. Even the big guys have limitations. They'll never be small enough to fit in this area. I can't get my goddamn meat hooks down in between the engine and the... We found that out today. I love Ford, but you guys do have a tendency to stack everything on top of fucking everything, and then you can't reach anything. So, also, is that you don't need to know what happened to the rest of the college people from the first movie, because I think they tell you a little bit at the end of the movie, but in general, that's not what the movie's focus is. The movie's focus is to follow the boys through school, and we just happen to throw Randall in there for, because Randall's a great character. And who doesn't want to...
He's continuity.
Yeah, and who doesn't...
carries continuity into back to the first film.
You want to watch Steve Buscemi play a good guy. You want to watch him play a bad guy. He's a great actor. He's a great human. There you go. Volunteering.
You want to see him pull a 2.5-inch line to get ready to go interior. That's what you want to see.
You're trying to set it up on your table, Clay, or you're balancing it on your dick? Which one? That's why I try to, up here, so it's not all like, hey, baby. So, do you like stuff? Sorry. Here, be on my
Remember the
podcast.
things
I'm
I
gonna give
taught you.
shit. That's not nice. That's not what I set out to do. So, Water Noose, on the other hand, is a guy like Sully who was a number one and then ends up being running the company, because whether he was competent enough to be on the brain side of it or not, he was thrown upwards every time through management, and now he's the CEO, and no one opposes him.
He was smart enough to consolidate himself and his authority as he climbed higher and higher. So there are aspects of him that would make him, I would say there are definitely aspects of him that would make him fall into the lawful evil, because he's the evil side. He's willing to do whatever. He's not concerned with the collateral damage to get to where he wishes to be. But he's lawful in that he understands how to consolidate his control, and he understands that aspect, kind of for lack of a better term, the social aspect of how to get what he needs to. So he's not neutral. He's following a set of standards and guidelines, rules. They're his. They're not necessarily shared with anyone else. And he's not purely chaotic, because again, he's not out there burning the building down. He's not going from child's door to child's door killing the children. But he has no problem kidnapping children, holding them, and doing these horrible things in an effort to try and recover and to keep his business moving forward, to keep himself in that position that he has consolidated over time, that he now sees slipping away.
I think also Water Noose is driven by the panic of the bureaucracy, too. Constantly the theme is we're running out of power. There's less and less screens. They're not allowed to drive their cars. They can't. There's a sense as they walk to work that they're impoverished because there is a lack of screens, and children aren't as afraid because of video games and the lack of imagination across the board. So that being said, it's more of I think Water Noose realizes it's the same aspect of changing an entire company or changing an entire industry, where he might probably already have the research that laughter is 10 times more powerful than screams, but he may look at it as converting from DC to AC, converting from reel-to-reel to quarter-inch, to Betamax, to VHS, to CDs, to what do they use now? I have no idea what they use now. It scares me now. But it's also the same thing with music. Oh, I've got reel-to-reel, I've got 8-track, I've got vinyl, I've got cassettes, I've got CDs. I got my 35-year-old MP3 player. Still works. Batteries,
it's kind of that same idea of it's also the comfort zone. So when you look at a society that has a comfort zone, they're used to it. And when societies fail, when they start to break down, is when there are options, there are abilities to move past whatever it is the current and failing technology is, whatever that may be. Yeah. There's the opportunity to move beyond, but the societal norms are such that you have people in positions of authority who do not wish to see that change. They fear the change because they fear a loss of control or a loss of stability that they cherish. And they cherish that because of the consolidation. They've consolidated this condition to put themselves in that position to allow that to be. They don't wish to lose that. I mean, you see that in every society throughout history. As technology changes, I mean, perfect example.
Oops.
Who the hell's going to buy these automobiles? What the hell is that? I have a horse. My horse is perfect. I don't need the automobile. It doesn't do these things. And now, if
what was it? What's the sense of buying one of your unalive contraptions when my horse can not only do the same work, but I can also use him to fertilize my fields?
And I can go about doing whatever it is I want to with my horse.
With my horse. Well, no one would argue with that logic because it's completely sound. But your horse can throw a shoe. It's the same kind of, the horse. You're lucky if you get what do horses live? 25.
Yeah, and you end up with how long does it take you and your horse to take this cart full of materials from your home to town, and from taking materials that you then get in town and bring them back to home. And then your horse has to rest before your horse can then do the work that you needed to do, where if I have this unalived contraption, I can haul that same cart to town, remove the materials, put the new materials in, haul the cart back, and then immediately unhook from the cart and hook up to the next piece of machinery that I need to do the next piece of heavy labor that the horse has to do, but the horse will require some kind of rest and recuperation beforehand.
Sustenance.
Where, I can continue using the vehicle for a longer period. Now, it does have a finite time frame that it can operate as well. You wouldn't run a Model T for 24 hours straight because it would fail. But I can run it for hours where my horse cannot run for the same hours and complete the same level of work. Again, it works with all forms of technology that have come to pass over time. So why should I worry about this water wheel contraption you're talking about? I've got 10 slaves who can run my grinding stone. Yeah, but I can open the water wheel as long as there's water running through the creek bed here. I can have my 10 slaves feeding the grinding wheel for 24 hours. I can have 3 shifts. I can do 3 times the work.
Yeah.
So, that becomes the difficult. Well, what happens to me? I no longer have that control over this aspect of life. Well, that's true. You now have to see those who can see the new aspects are the ones that catch it and carry forward.
Yeah. Going on slaves and horses, slaves. Let's say
slaves. We call them children, but it's the same idea.
Jefferson called his children. I don't think. Well, some of them were, but most of them were like, what? It's the same argument for us being made by the Anunnaki to mine gold. That doesn't make any sense because we're very fragile. We break down easy. You hurt your arm, your hip, and now you're out of commission, and another human has to help heal you, or a couple other humans have to heal you, and now you're an extra drain on the resources and an extra. Where robots are far superior, and although they don't have the social awareness and all the other things that are going on that you would find in humans, they're far more.
Robots cannot adapt.
Yeah, there you go.
That is the saving grace of a sentient being, is that all sentient beings adapt to circumstances, changing situations.
Yeah.
A horse will change based on what they see. If the road suddenly falls out to the left, the horse moves to the right. If the road suddenly falls out to the left, the robot keeps moving. Unless you have programmed it with that intent.
If you raise a horse out in the countryside on a farm and it encounters asphalt for the very first time, it will not just step out onto the asphalt. from the horse's perspective, that's a ditch.
Yep.
That's
but the horse can adapt. The horse can adapt to that circumstance and can learn to move forward.
You have to get off the horse, walk on it, and show the horse that this is a solid structure, not a hole in the ground.
Yeah, you see that with dogs and cats. That's something that's done in every psychology program that I've ever seen, where you bring in the dogs and the cats and the baby, and you have a table that's set up that has a plexiglass top, and it has two sections that are at this height, plexiglass section with something that is dropped down 3 feet. And you put the dog or the cat go up, and they look and they pay attention, and they're like, no, not interested. I see that.
Yeah.
And that was one of the tests used for developmental psychology. You put a child in the child. If the child had never encountered a drop, a fall, they would keep going and not even thinking about it, because they're looking out here. They're not necessarily looking out here. Dog and cat's going, oh yeah, I know what that is. Not interested in it.
I don't think so.
Until you show them that there is indeed something there for them to
solid
continue to move
surface.
on.
Yeah.
But it's an adaptation. So when you speak about humans, if humans are going to be used, and that's why humans were the only species that enslaves our own kind. But one of the things that comes along with that is the knowledge, the understanding that I can take a human and the human will adapt to a situation. A human can improvise and make something work. If a human has the right motivation, a human can go above and beyond the normals, the standards, the regular expectation. So that's one of the reasons why it was desirable in some areas and in many cultures to take slaves, because I know that a human's capable of doing the job. Yeah. If I can press this human into service without any other expense other than I will feed you, I will clothe you, you will work. I don't have to give you any of the wealth that is accumulated from your action. Then that is worthwhile. Plus, you can adapt and improvise to potentially make things more functional, more productive for me. The downside to that is you also have the human mind that is capable of figuring out, I don't like it here. And I am going to figure ways to get that's right. I'm going to figure out how to either get the heck out of here, or I'm going to eliminate the problem.
I'm going to make it stabby time.
It's like,
yeah.
Human nature is the genuine double-edged sword. We like to have the advantage. Each human, each individual will always seek to have an advantage over those around them. It's the tell of the tape, as it were, as far as your psyche and your psychological buildup, what your genuine profile is, as to how much you value having the advantage over others. If you value having the advantage over others so much so that you are willing to then change on the scale, you're willing to go to a 17 or an 18. You're willing to be evil. You're willing to go about doing things. That is that's the edge that people don't like. The edge that people do like is the person that's willing to look for the advantage and tries to bring others along with them. Hey, I found a better way to do this, and if we all do it together, we all do better. The other one says, hey, I found a better way to do this, and you're all going to do it because I have a big rock.
I could kill you now, but I want us to face each other as God intended. Yeah.
And that, kids, is your first. That's your first semester Psychology 101. I just saved you $1,000.
Thanks, Professor Hemby.
That's 3 credit hours. Send your checks in.
Send them to P.O. Box. I don't know our P.O. We don't have a P.O. Box. Like and subscribe.
Go to www.whatthefuck.com.
You can email us at ouch@doesthislookinfectedtoyou.com. Don't. That's not
We're a
real,
nonprofit.
I made that up at work when we had to make up an email, and then I realized I was a giant dick because when we were practicing, you have to say that back with the Whiskey Tango Bravo Niner, or my favorite, Whiskey Echo Delta. Do you copy? Weed. It helps.
See, that ranks up there with one of the first things I did in, I think I told you guys about it. One of my programming classes, we had to build the pop-ups so that you could pop it up and you could put your controls in there. So, you finish the task, pop-up comes up. Would you like to do A or B? Select one of the buttons.
Would you like to say no again?
And I found the code to make the button run away from the cursor. So you had the pop-up and it would say, would you like to press no again? And you had yes or no. And I had the little no button so that when the cursor got close to it, it would jump over. And so it would just always move. Wherever you tried to go for it, you could never catch the no button.
Hold on, I almost got it. It's been 3 hours.
I learned that from an old programmer who worked for the city of Phoenix for a long time. And he said, "You're going to love this. You're going to love this. Here, try this. Put that into your
Donnie would do, or my old boss Jameer. You're an asshole." It's a joke, and then they would turn it back. That's too funny. Would you like to press no again? Always funny. I'm tired. I want to go to work tonight, but I have to close the store. I know. Ain't no
time
rest
to close the store.
Time to cook the patties. Time to change the fryer. Yeah. Well, I kept wondering why the quality of work was going down, and then I found out the guy who trained me no longer works there. Oh! That's why okay. Gonna need to borrow that pressure washer again, Rob. Well, it was Thanksgiving the last time I did it. Day before.
Yeah, right about there. Yeah, because I was laid up. Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't feeling well, and Clay had to work, and we ended up having our own Thanksgiving, and then later, Beth and Chip and Willow stopped by, dropped off me some stuff, and then Hannah some stuff, so it was good. Beth came into the pirate ship this weekend, so it was good to see her, and then you know how people, all right, let's just call them nerds. You know how nerds try to offer help, but they're so socially awkward, the backhanded compliment comes out like an insult, even though they mean the right thing?
Yep.
I'm helping Frenchie's youngest daughter, Kim, take the big long tarp that we put on the front of the store, the pirate ship, the pirate's plunder, when the day is over, because, we don't want any more customers coming in there. Nobody goes in there at night. It's easier to just put it on the grommets and then staple the rest to the thing. So as I'm moving back and forth to help her, one of the parasols that's one of the thicker, more robust and expensive ones is sticking out, and I catch the top of my forearm on it to the point where it completely jerks me backwards. Like if someone had grabbed me and pulled me backwards. I don't bail. I didn't even bruise. I had like a little mark on my arm, and that was it. But I'm all beat up all the time, so who could tell? That might have been from something else. So the tarot reader that's in a booth across the street a little way down. Oh, you better be careful. You're really old. You're going to hurt yourself. I don't know her. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, in the street. In my mind, I'm like, hey, fuck you, lady.
That's when you tap the kid and say, go get my cane so I can beat her, would you?
Yeah. So Kimberly is like dying laughing and making fun of me and making fun of her and making fun of the situation. And of course, she tells my sister. So now everything's going to be about how old I am. I'm 5 years older than you. I've always been older than you. That's how we were set up this time around through these lifetimes, you. And then, we'll go on with our day. That's communicating with us. So the next day, Kimberly's trying to, she was trying to take it down and basically a lot of karate saved her from really hurting herself because she got up on I'm standing there holding the tarp. She gets up on the step ladder, goes to the third ladder, but her balance is off and it's not stable. So she immediately falls across me. My first thought besides, oh no, is, oh shit. Because I'm left-handed, holding it left-handed, which is going to show right in the video. And she's falling across me. So I can't, move around. There just isn't time. My only instant reaction is I lock elbows with her, elbow to elbow, and I swing her around and land her on her feet. She's like, oh, my God, thank you. I'm like, you would have fallen on your ass and your head bad because you're about 3.5 feet up off the ground, and you didn't check this thing before you walked it before you walked up it because we're in a hurry. And I'm like, I know I'm old, but I was able to catch you.
That's the one where you say, sweetheart, that's 12 years of square dancing in grade school and high school in Arizona.
Yeah.
That's why it's a requirement. It's not just for stomping around.
I didn't even think about square dancing. Oh, my God. It probably looked like punk square dancing from far away. That she got up on a stepladder and was like, yeah! And I'm like, yeah! Are you all right? You okay? Okay, ah! Get the turf down. We're running late.
That's right. The only thing that was missing was Dropkick Murphys blasting out of the speakers.
His eyes, they close last Christmas. But, oh my God. And I feel really bad for the people. But I couldn't get a signal out. We had bad internet out there at the Renaissance Festival all weekend. Only so there was a terrible, terrible multiple emergency vehicles and ambulance accident on the 60, both directions. The cannon goes off at 6. It takes us almost an hour to batten down the hatches, so to speak. Ha! Nautical humor. So I'm out of there after a point, but because of the accidents and all the shenanigans and the chicanery and everything, I didn't get out of the parking. I didn't get on the 60 until like 8:15, 8:22, 8:30. It takes me an hour to get back. The whole while, I don't know if I have to work or not because sometimes the guy calls in and I'll go in and fill in. Whereas tonight I'm actually scheduled, so that's I'm going to work. So 2.5-ish. No, Over 2 hours. Sitting in the parking lot. Shout out to Aaron. Nice to meet you. He works in games. After a while, we were just all... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just saying, I remember the good old days of, it was an hour to get off of the gravel to get out of there at the close when you were not working at the event. You were there, cannon went off, and now you're with the unwashed masses trying to leave.
And they really let the customer parking lot empty out before they let the participants start to leave. Lately, I got there an hour and a half early on Sunday, and the participant lot was already full. They were already turning people back. And I was like, there's no fucking way it's full. And then when Theo, Paul's nephew, it's Theo's coat now. It's no longer Paul's pirate coat. He looks good in it. I'm glad he got that coat. I'm very happy for him. So, by serendipity, I ended up pulling in behind him and parking right next to him. Awesome. So I threw my shit in his wagon, and he pulled it on the way in, and I pulled it on the way out. Teamwork. Go team us. And we're both like, there's no fucking way that the participant parking lot is full next to the shower house, because it goes further than it's ever gone before now. I mean, it doesn't go to the 60, but we joke, we were almost having to park on the 60, but it doesn't go that far. But even when we got up to that point and we looked over, damn, it's almost 9 o'clock and that thing is full. Faire doesn't open for another hour.
A lot of participants.
I think it's the biggest cast I've ever seen.
I was going to say, I mean, they have really built out the number of artists that are out there then.
Yeah, still your old favorites are out there. Hey Nunny Nunny, Zilch, Three Guys and a Bunch of Drums, Tartanic, the Tortuga Twins, Dead Bob, the Wild Men. I could do this for like 20 minutes because the problem is that you can't see, it's designed that you can't see everything in one day. And that's why they hire people to beg you to sit down and watch the show. Because you're like, nah, I'm not interested in that. Or even worse, glass blowing. No, I'm not interested in that. Dude, they've been doing it for like 40 years. It's a funny show about making glass. They're still Rennies, even though they're giving you the, how to make glass. And everybody just sits quietly on the benches and they're like, oh, wow, that's beautiful. Clay, am I lying? I mean, how many times did you walk by as safety services way before you started working at the costume rental shop and you saw people? Probably 20 times. What would they have, like 5 shows a day? No, they only have like 4 shows a day, don't they? I have to look. Don't quote me on that. I think it's 4. I think it's like noon, 2, like 3, and like 4 or 5. We got to figure out it's an audio thing. I'm sorry, guys. We're using free technology, and the technology that we have at hand, that's our own personal technology. So I've got an ancient computer. I can't point any fingers or make any judgments.
Hey, free is the ultimate buy one, scry ones.
Free's the ultimate spice. Buy one, scry ones.
You got it for free. I'm crying for it.
Yeah.
Buy one, scry once. I got it for free.
Yeah. I don't mind free. It's the best spice ever. Hey, try this. Oh, these are gross. Do you want one? They're free. Oh, can I have 5?
I'll take all you got.
Because they're free. And I'm hungry. And I don't make enough money to buy fancy luxuries like food.
It's like the good old days as a kid. You used to go into the U Totem down in Tucson. And you would get salitos, which were the salted plums. And nobody wants to eat a salted plum. except you could get like 3 of them, literally 3 of them for a nickel. So you put your money down so you could get a bunch of these damn things, and then walk back to the house because you were going to get your nickel's worth.
I now completely understand my father because, I'll do something I don't normally do. I'll go, I want a candy bar. I haven't craved that in a long time. You go down the aisle, and all I kept thinking was, when I was a kid, candy bars were like 35 cents. Now they're $3.99. Stop the world, I want to get off. Because you can't come back to that unless everything falls apart. And you don't want that because we're addicted to comfort. And video games are fun. I love killing zombies. Yeah, in video games and tabletop role-playing. Not in real life. Oh, my God, no. I have a family and cats that I love. And I don't want that. And friends and roommates. And
I did the zombie thing for a number of years. Southwest 52, show you're responding, code 3 for difficulty coping. Roll up, and here's somebody who's using the latest and greatest and better living through chemistry.
That's the problem. Okay, we all know those people. Super chemical freaks, as Brent used to say. But it's also the, dude, if society collapsed, you'd just be reliving your nightmare over and over and over and over and over again because people know in your area that you did that, so if society started collapsing and shit started going sideways, you would be invaluable in the transition and the aftermath because medical knowledge. Not everyone has it.
That's why I make sharp, pointy things.
Oh, no. He's got a scratch. I don't know what happened. He's absolutely dead.
It was horrible. Well, we were out of leeches, and I had to get the special knife.
And it's so sharp. It's so sharp.
Yeah, fire up the forge. We're going to cauterize his head. Well, can't help you.
I had to cut the pus out of the wound, but his wound was on his knee. It was a really sharp knife. It went all the way up to his neck. I don't know. I think they were running when they brought me the knife.
You know what? It's a whole medical thing. We can get into it. There's terms like metastasized and things like that. We don't need to go into the details, but just suffice it to say, I did what I could.
Everything was fine, but then he instantly came down with a severe case of death. And against all of our best efforts, he was just not able to resuscitate.
He did not want to come back from the light. Don't blame him. Have you looked around here recently?
It's kind of dark. Everything was fine until the 5th time he fell off the gurney and the compounded lacerations and abrasions and concussion had him go into cardiac arrest. There was nothing we could do. We performed voodoo, but to our dismay, all efforts were... What was your joke again, Clay? Voodoo doll joke? That was the first part of it. Now we just have to wait for the delay.
This is a suspenseful part of the evening.
I haven't heard it yet.
I went to see an acupuncturist, and when I got home, my voodoo doll was dead.
That's it.
I like that one.
Did you hear all that?
Yes.
I like that one. That one is a keeper. I heard a comment. Let me see if I can find it because I wrote it down. I knew I was going to want to see this one again, and I would have a hard time remembering it. So I was watching one of those programs where a guy, it was YouTube, and the guy tears down destroyed engines and does a forensic analysis and tells you what happened. what killed this motor.
What killed this motor?
And this statement is absolute perfect. He said it was a Jeep 4-liter straight 6 motor, one of the more bulletproof engines that has ever come out of Detroit. And he said he's describing the vehicle or the motor, and he says just that. He says this is a bulletproof engine. So in this particular instance, we're going to see if we can figure out what neuronless feat of wonder caused death of this motor.
That is awesome.
So that's one that I had to write down and put in my phone, because I'm going to end up using that probably in multiple Zoom calls the rest of this week. So tell me, what neuronless feat of wonder have you all done, or have you all witnessed that we need to be aware of and document for HR Panda?
Well, I already stated and self-confessed, outing myself, that I've locked my keys in my car 3 times this month due to sleep deprivation. Clay's already rescued me like twice. So, well, the first time I had my boss drive me back to get the spare key. And then last night coming home after Faire, it's been making noise, and I just thought the belt was going bad, but around the tensioner, it was just, the bearing had seized. So it was only a matter of time. Speaking of forensic, the bearing is seized. That please send us a link or post a link for, because now I want to watch that guy. Neuronless.
Yep, he does. That's what he does. He runs an engine. I think he runs an engine rebuilder and a scrap yard. And part of what he does is he will go out and he will buy engines that he thinks he can get components off of that he can then recycle. So if it's a popular motor and he knows he can recycle, perhaps the heads can be reused, the intakes, things like that. He will get what he can from them. This particular one, he's like, I don't think there's anything that I can genuinely recycle from this. This was one of those that I said, this is for the YouTube. This is where I can make money off of this motor. I'll give you money for this motor because I can make much more back by showing other people what happened to it.
Yeah.
So.
Good times.
Yep.
Only the best.
When I was going to college and I was learning to be an EMT and I was doing all the business classes and psychology classes and things like that, as you know, I like doing mechanical things. I like working with my hands. And I was going to Glendale Community College at the time, and they had a GM and Ford factory training program.
Nice.
So I couldn't get into those courses because I wasn't going to become a factory technician.
Yeah.
But they had all of the courses available as individual classes as well. So I took a number of those classes. You had to have credits in other areas that were open, and you could take underwater basket weaving or whatever the hell else showed up. I was like, I'm going to go take automotives.
Oh my God! Some woman told me this weekend on Monday that she was there, and she grew up next to that. What college was it? And they offered that class, underwater basket weaving, and it was like a real thing in the 70s. And I'm like, oh my God! That's just? I thought that was a joke. No, it's real. Okay, I believe you. I didn't grow up there.
Yeah. The ultimate gimme class. You know, everybody had that gimme class that you were going to take. Great Jewish athletes in American football. That was a history class that everybody wanted to take because there were 3 guys you get to talk about, and they already had everything written. So those were all the jokes. You had classes like that.
I've got a full roster this semester. What are you taking? Oh, well, choral songs of the 1300s Germany. I'm taking, Anthropology 2. I'm taking History of the Nugget, number 5. And sorry.
Yep, I'm taking the Applied Sociology and Psychology for the Insane, and then I'm also taking this class over here. What is it? Well, that's recreating pipe cleaners. What? Yeah, recreating pipe cleaners. It's great. You'll love it. You should come try it. It's fun. You know.
Oh, the Cub Scouts are here. What are they getting? Oh, they're getting their Falling on Jagged Rocks badge. Oh, fantastic.
The good old days. But yeah, when I was in the GM training center, the GM training program, or in their center there, they had a room that was full of engines that had been pulled from vehicles. So all the cars that we had, all the Fords and all the GMs that we had, were vehicles that could not be sold for whatever reason. So they were either early production run. In some cases, we had, we had an 86 or an 87 Buick that was basically a test mule. So it had a lot of things on it that were not legal. They couldn't be out on the road. They were not allowed to sell a vehicle. After we finished taking it apart, putting it back together again for a couple of years, they literally had to crush the vehicle.
Oh.
So what they would do is they would pull the motors and the transmissions and the rear axles and things like that out, and those would go into the individual drivetrain classrooms. So you could tear apart and put back together all of these things, and you didn't have to search for something.
Yeah.
And inevitably there would be motors that came because there was a proving ground in the area that we could get bits and pieces from.
Nice.
So if a motor grenaded or failed, we would get it so that you could do the forensic analysis on the engine. And so we had a couple that were sitting in the back that had, the joke was you had a window block. Well, what's a window block? Let me show you. It has a big window right here so you can see everything inside. Not supposed to be there. So they would, and that was one of the things. You get to take it apart, and they would show you, say, now this is what happened.
This here piston, that's a convertible. They're extra expensive. They are top of the line, state of the art. The hole
is a window.
The hole in the top is ventilation, so it'll move up and down faster.
That's right. This is quick.
Yeah.
The best one was Cadillac had tried to build an engine. It's a V8 motor, and what it was the 468, and you would see that on the badges on the side of the Cadillac.
It's a big engine.
And the idea was it would shut down 2 or 4 of the cylinders on the V8 to save energy and to save fuel consumption, depending upon the load on the vehicle. So basically, if the car's out on the highway, it doesn't need to use all of that. It's already up to speed, moving along. It could shut down 2 or 4 of the cylinders. The problem is that system failed so often, so horribly, they had to pull it all out. So we had a couple there that had grenaded, and you got to take it all apart and see how it worked and didn't work. And it was just, some great ideas. The technology had not caught up with the thinking. We didn't have the capacity to make it work at that time.
Oh.
So
that's also a learning fun, Oh. Oops. Okay, now we learned the expense of a very expensive engine.
I got to learn the true meaning of the interference engine. So that's a term that'll get thrown around. An interference engine is one where the valves and the pistons are timed such that they will try and take up the same space if they're not timed correctly. So the valves will open into the space where a piston would sit. And so those were always interesting to look at when the timing belt had broken and a valve had tried to occupy the same physical space as the top of the cylinder or the top of the piston. And so that was the joke from my instructor, because he had master's degrees in science and metallurgy and physics and everything, but he had also 45 years of automotive engineering and everything else. So you say, today is a physics class. I'm going to show you the proof of the law that two things cannot occupy the same space at the same time. Here it is.
It's one of Newton's laws, I think.
Yeah. This is called fusion. They have fused together. And not in a controlled fashion. And he was one of the first ones that ever said to me, and I love that statement, is spontaneous disassembly.
That's not a bad term.
Wait, what happened? Well, we had a case of spontaneous disassembly. What does that mean? Blew up.
Done blowed up. This here engine done blowed up. There's so many mechanical things that can go wrong in the high octane, high impact level of automotives. And then there's when you're not driving to work.
Yep. The other one that we got to learn on was, for a time, General Motors was not using Detroit diesels. They wouldn't put Detroit diesels in cars or trucks, small, regular cars and light duty trucks. Detroit diesels, most of them were 2-strokes, and they were meant for big, heavy trucks. Great motors, not a lot of horsepower, a whole lot of torque. They did the job very well. But during the fuel crisis, diesel fuel became less expensive. During the 80s in particular, the early 80s, it was, if we could use diesel, we could sell diesel vehicles, and we could go ahead and do it. Well, GM didn't want to buy Volvo diesels. They didn't want to buy diesels from Japan. They didn't want to buy European diesels, and they didn't make a small diesel themselves. So what they did was their engineers came up with a way to convert the Chevrolet small block 350 into a diesel engine. And it was not a great system, because a diesel block is meant to go under a lot greater strains. Diesel heads go under a lot heavier strains. So it really wasn't built to withstand that. But this was a stopgap measure. So they built diesel engines out of these small block Chevrolet 350s. And they would run great for like the first 30 or 40,000 miles. And then they just became a nightmare for the dealership. And we would get those to look at. And that became a joke that you could go, if you wanted to build a hot rod 350 and you needed a good block, you go down and you look for the Buick or the Pontiac with the diesel V8 on it. You take that block, because that's a seasoned block. No, that's a block that has been put through the ringer twice and just barely holding on.
For dear life. I remember all the, like you said, Volvo, Saab, and later Volkswagen. Wasn't it 87 or 88 that they started making? Because I remember seeing Diesel Golf, Diesel Rabbit, Diesel Bugs.
And they had them in Europe for quite a while before that. Europe had always embraced the diesel for a very long time. And because it was
cleaner,
it was cheaper. A compact motor. It produced a lot. It wasn't necessarily cleaner, but it could be much cheaper to operate. So the diesel motors tended to last longer. They were heavy. They had a lot of heavy-duty components, but they tended to last a lot longer. So they were very, very popular. And they were, comparatively speaking, they were incredibly more fuel efficient than a gasoline motor doing the same job. But you have to remember, too, that in Europe, a lot of those vehicles were not taking long trips. So what we consider to be a long trip here is, that's a vacation for somebody in Europe. So, an hour and a half journey to go from my mother's house in Scottsdale to my son's house out in Surprise, that's a long-ass drive in Europe. Here, well, I'm going to do that today. I'm going to make that drive 3 times today. What?
Yeah.
So we don't think of it. The thing that didn't sell over here was that a lot of Americans didn't like the clattery noise from a diesel, because most of the early diesels were very noisy, a lot of clatter, a lot of noise, and the smoke. We were always taught that smoke coming out of the tailpipe was a bad thing. So,
but for a diesel, that's normal.
Okay. For a diesel, that's normal. And then in the 90s, it became cool to roll coal. Get yourself a diesel pickup truck, put a big old pump on it, and make it spit out as much black smoke as possible, because that way it means you're burning twice as much fuel through there without getting any of the power.
That's right. Put the gasifier on there. You put coal right in it. They always try.
So the fun ones.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the fun ones were the old Detroits, because they were 2-strokers, and they made a completely different sound. Now we've kind of gotten used to, you hear a truck go down the road, you're used to hearing the turbochargers running on it, everything else for the light-duty vehicles. And that's a distinctive sound. And those Detroits sounded like an army truck was hauling a 55-gallon barrel behind it full of nuts and bolts.
Down a gravel highway.
That's right. Oh, truck's here.
All right, delivery. And I'm waiting to get the video from, Clay's already heard about this because I was geeking out about it. 5 of them? It was 4 or 5 of them. Younger kids came out to, and I say kids, early 20s, late teens, maybe even young teenagers. They all had, there was only one that didn't have stuff on his face, so it was hard to tell how old they were. They were dressed as wrestlers from the early 80s. So there was Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, Randy Macho Man Savage, Nature Boy, and
Ric Flair.
Yeah, I got to find out if there was one more or not. But they even came into the shop, and they each, because I was yelling at them, and Frenchie we were all yelling at them, and then Kim got them to come in, and she started filming them, and they walked in, and the Hulk Hogan guy, "You're going to feel the power of these 24-inch biceps, brother. You're going to take your vitamins and pray to Jesus." And there was a woman that was Macho Man Savage. She had it down pat. The other woman was Nature Boy. And then the other kid, he didn't have anything on his face. He was Roddy Piper, and he was trying to interview all of them, but also yell at us at the same time. It was funny. Because they were just out wandering around. It's the beauty of Faire, where they were just walking by. These are customers that just dressed as the characters. And, hey, we like to have fun. There was this guy, and he didn't really appreciate it, but if you walk into my store wearing a shirt from a cartoon and you're on a cell phone, I don't care that you're on your cell phone. You're not supposed to be on your cell phone. This is Ren Fair. So he had a Phineas and Ferb shirt on. "You ready to sing the song?" And he didn't say a word to me. He completely ignored me and continued to talk to somebody on his cell phone. "It's 104 days of summer vacation. The school comes along just as." So I go immediately into the theme song, because I watched this with the oldest child. I watched this with the youngest child. And then Kim across the store realizes what I'm doing, and she joins in. Like maybe building a rocket or fighting a mummy or discovering something. Frankenstein's brain. It's over here. And then she made a song reference, and the girl that she made it to was really only early 20s. So she didn't get it at all. She's like, "I'm a pirate girl." And Kim's all, "In a private world." And the girl just looked at her, and she's like, "Never mind." Like, oh my God, I want to work next to you, but I'm like 3 people away. You and I would have so much fun because we're both like human cartoons. Where Frenchie's a pirate and Theo's Theo. He's fun and he's selling guns and that's cool and he wants to talk about video games. I love working with him. But the gypsy fortune teller thing is going to come back to haunt me because now Beth is going to be making age jokes at my expense until I die. What are you doing? Dying? Well, you are really old, you know.
You need to carry a cane, and you need to carry a what is it? A sand clock.
An hourglass.
You need a large one. Nice hourglass. You need a large one.
I can pretend to be Father Time. He's such a dick.
So you can just go.
So the sands of time run out like the days of our lives. Anyway, let's go have breakfast.
Now you have to go over to the tarot shop with your cane, wrap it on her table. Hey, 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 hey.
I want you to let me in and know I want to know where I'm going. What happened last Thursday? I don't know. We're done here.
So you can tell the future. Can you tell me what I did yesterday?
Yeah, really. No, I had to flex later, and I was kind of nervous because since I hurt my shoulder, playing the bones is actually quite painful. But St. Patrick's Day is coming up, and I'm probably going to spend it out at Faire, so... And it's a good draw of a crowd, because, you know, unless you're raised in the community, you don't really... Spoons are more of this side of the pond.
Spoons come out of the Appalachia in the south.
Yeah. Not that they don't exist in the other side, but predominantly it's an American thing. So bones predate spoons. Well, we were cutting human bones from the ribs and making them into instruments long before we forged it into hot metal and poured it into... cooled it down, thing of sand and oil. So that it's a bit different and it does draw a crowd. So to flex my percussionist giant penis on her, I stood in the beginning of the drawbridge and fucking cranked it out. And it hurt later, but it drew a crowd. It got people to walk in. And she was nothing but smiles. And it's like, lady, you don't even know me. You haven't talked to me. I am fucking full of surprises. I know
Allow
shit.
me to frighten.
Yeah, well, not that, but well, that's going to happen because that always happens. I was a coworker, the coworker Kim, the Mr. Wiggles' grandmother. She's the one that got us Mr. Wiggles and Ruckus. Ruckus got fixed. Quite a difference. He's less of a lunatic. He's less of a psycho. And man, not that you want to stare, but you can't notice. That cat had huge balls before, and now they're all gone. I mean, they were like a cartoonishly big compared to his body.
Yeah.
It's like he's going to be large then if his nutsack is that ginormous, but now it's gone. So it's now like, oh, okay. You don't have to look like, does he have a tumor? Oh, no. Whoa. You know. Does he have a growth?
Is he okay?
Oh, okay. He's okay. He's okay. For a second there, I thought, oh, but it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's all fine.
So you're going to get to use the infamous commentary out of with their. Do I frighten you? No. Would you like it?
I don't scare people because apparently some guy that worked there scared people, and Tatton and Frenchie did not appreciate it because that makes them. You're not just making the customer run away, you're making the money run away. Oh, good point. Yeah, so I promised not to scare people, but I've still accidentally scared all of them because, and like we had to fix the gate that the dogs that she has broke the gate that she uses to keep them in so she can keep the door open. So instead of neither one of us have a lot of money, so instead of going and buying a bunch of zip ties, oh my God, let's just go to my house and fix the gate real quick. And that got her to have a reunion with Ruckus and Mr. Wiggles. And then we fixed it. And then I was explaining, she's never seen the Dark Crystal, so I had to explain that to her. And then also I was explaining how, when you work at a haunted house, you train yourself differently because you're in a different mindset. You're in the primal you. You don't walk the same. You walk on different parts of your feet. You concentrate on moving silently, sticking to the shadows, not casting a shadow, not making a sound, being invisible, not making eye contact or staring at the back of the head of anybody, so that you can remain to be a ghost, a whisper, a soft shadow in the dark. And you kind of like set that goal for yourself each night, and you work to get better, you work to get faster, you work to get across the room like a silent ghost. And eventually you get really good at it, so good that you can't turn it off. And it becomes your default mode setting. Yeah, God forbid there's ever a, what are you going to do for the zombie apocalypse? Succeed for once. I've been able to ninja around forever. Pirates versus ninja. Pirates. But ninjas get the job done. So, pirates are drunken. No, they're drunk after the work's done. But ninjas, you don't know that work's done. They're just gone. They're not into partying. I'm much more social. I can't be a ninja. But you can't turn that off. So I've already scared Kim, and I've already scared people at the new job. I've scared people at Wendy's. I don't mean to. Yeah. It's just you get better and better and better at not making a sound when you move.
Yeah, well, that's the intent. You move around without. You learn that. You learn that the first 3 months of living in a second or third floor apartment. What are you doing? Don't just shut up.
Yeah. Why are you acting like that? Did you hear me? No. That's why.
How come? Why do you close the doors like that? Because I don't want the people downstairs to hear. You live in a house. Yes, I know.
Old habits are the hardest to break. It's the gift of strategy versus the ignorance of panic. What are we going to do? Well, the smartest thing to do would be to eliminate the smallest threat first and build up from there. Because if you spend too much time working on the big threat, because at work you want to handle the biggest thing first, get that out of the way, and then work on the simple stuff to drown out the rest of the time. But life has a different strategy because the little things add up and the big things usually move slower than you want them to. So you end up fussing about the big stuff and letting the little things go until they become big things, and then you're treading water to get back to the start. I'm not perfect. That's my observation. Thank you very
much. Right, how many plates can I keep spinning?
Before I drop all of the plates. Yeah. If anybody came out that's going to watch this in the future, came out and said hello to us at the Renaissance Festival in Frenchie, and yeah, thank you very much, because it was a blast this weekend. It was great. We really had a great time. And then learning the Stranger Things knowledge later just made it all the better.
Yeah.
It barely sprinkled on Monday, I want to say around 4:30, 5, almost 5. I mean, near closing. Saturday was a little warm. Sunday was gorgeous. Monday was a slice of heaven because it was overcast all day, but it didn't actually kind of sprinkle water on us until the very end of the day, which was a really nice change.
Yeah.
And then last night, holy crap, were you woken up by that? Clay said he was, and I was.
I wasn't, actually. I had the back windows open and was relaxing and going to sleep in a little bit because today was St. Mary's Day. So I didn't even notice it until I went out to get in the Jeep and go to St. Mary's. I wasn't sure that it had rained, and I looked around and said, yeah, the windshield still had water on it, and it was wet.
Yeah. Yeah. I was worried because all my cats, Venus normally has like allergy respiratory things, but they're all sneezing. There's a lot of snot. So they caught some kind of cat cold. But Stella has lost weight, and when I picked her up yesterday, she was just limp, and she felt really light, which is not normal for her. Normally it's almost scratchy time. So then when I couldn't find her around, 9 when I got home, no, 8 or 9 when I got home yesterday, I was in a panic. But then we got the first belt, and that was the wrong belt, and Ford is that way, where it's a 6-cylinder. Okay, which 6-cylinder? What do you mean, which one? The 6-cylinder one. Okay, there's 2 different kinds. 3-liter or 4-liter. I really don't know. I gotta write this down. So then we were back and forth, so I didn't get to sleep until midnight, being up at 4 a.m., and it was just go, because I had to go to work and unload the truck before I went out to the Renaissance Festival. Because Monday is Arms Day. So I got to work I was supposed to be there at 5:30, but I got there at 5:45 afterward. But it's Wendy's, so they don't really care if you're like 5 or 20 minutes late. They're just glad you showed up.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah. Oh, you made it. But I'm very late. I'm terribly sorry. Yeah, it's okay. If you want me to sign the write-up. No, you don't have to.
Here's an extra $5 if you just forget about it and keep coming.
Yeah, really. Only they could do that. So, I'm doing stuff, and Tachi, my boss, who's awesome, signed this paper. Is this about being late? I'm terribly sorry, but yeah, I'm late. So I'll sign the paper. I broke the rules. I didn't want to break the rules. I didn't mean to break the rules, but the rules were broken. And when the rules are broken, please purge me. I have wronged Brother Numse. I must be purged. Eddie Murphy. And she's like, no, it's for Saturday. It's a no-call, no-show. And I'm like, but I told everybody that I wasn't going to be there. But if you want me to sign it, okay, I'll do it. I mean, I'm not going to fight. That's what happened. And she's like, wait a minute, you did tell me. I'm like, yeah, I told you, and I went through the chain, but I didn't tell the actual boss. I didn't tell Lena or the other one. And I figured that she knew because it's till March 29th, and I've said that a million times, but she's also juggling like 6 other people's schedules and running a restaurant, and Wendy's is Wendy's. It's just like any other corporation. They have deadlines and, criteria and shit that they want her to hit. And in the meanwhile, there's missed shipments and missing shipments of stuff that it's like it was supposed to come to us, but it went to somebody else. Now I got to call another store, and I'm one of the ones that has a car, so I go I don't mind driving and getting paid to go pick stuff up. This is like delivery driver days. And then, wait a minute, she's like, wait a minute, you did tell me that. I'm like, yeah, I've told you like 4 times since, and she's like, since Monday. And I'm like, but I don't want to cause, I'm sorry, I feel bad. I'm creating paperwork when, dude, I'm working 3 jobs. Leave me alone. I keep locking my keys in my car. I can't remember anything. I'm doing really bad at the new job because I'm tired and I can't remember anything. I'm usually really good about, okay, it's new. This is interesting. Okay. Oh, that's neat. But with this, it's like, what? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is there more coffee? Please tell me there's more coffee. So, I want to do a good job there, but I think I've already laid out my noose and wrapped it up. Hang 'em high.
Well, then you're going to become a general manager at Wendy's.
That's all right. It pays good money. It's like
Yeah.
$55K a year. That's not bad. I don't have to be a rich man. I don't know.
They'll take care of it.
Money's great, but it also causes a lot of issues because people don't know how to handle money, or people think that they're owed money because they're within the, yeah, you're successful. You don't owe me anything because you're successful. It's why the whole concept of the entourage is disgusting. It's like, what do you contribute?
Yeah. That is the whole, that's the whole psychology thing. That's what fits in the entourage is something that supports the person that needs it, that feels that requirement. Oh, this is wonderful. I must have this. Oh, good for you. Congratulations. Goodbye.
Oh, I think it goes back to royalty, where you would have the royal court kissing the ass of the royal, and then you have in modern day, it would be rich people for Americans, because, I mean, I'm sure that still happens around the world. I'm not that ignorant, but also it's kind of, you're right, it is narcissistic validation or sociopath validation. That the others should be in awe of me. Okay, that's the sickest thing I've ever heard. But okay, I mean there's people that exist out there that are like that. Yeah, that's great. Can we get back to work? We're building a community garden. Let's go.
That's right. Places to go, people to kill. Get out of the way.
Yeah, move the hell out of them. Because no, I like working at Wendy's. I like working at the shop. There's a lot of satisfaction in a job well done, and that really doesn't happen to you until you gain wisdom. And you don't gain wisdom until you spend a lot of years young fucking everything up. Like I told Kim, I wouldn't want to meet me at 16. That guy's an asshole. It's better to be older and be a giant dick. To go back to Team America. Dicks, fuck ass. You had me at dicks, fuck assholes. But I had to learn a work ethic by doing a million projects with my father. I had to learn a work ethic by absolutely infuriating a lot of bosses in my teens and 20s and early 30s. I had to learn a lot of lessons from going through the school of hard knocks. College is great, but so is life experience on the street. That can't be measured, but by turning in homework and passing a test, you can get a degree in college after you spend a lot of money, but you're still getting experience, whether it's drama inside the classroom, listening to the teacher and the people around you, or drama outside the classroom where you're trying to juggle life and career also while going to school and trying to better yourself while you struggle to hold on to the relationships of your friends because you're so busy you can't contact them.
Yeah.
So there's repercussions to everything. Everything is ripples in the pond. Yeah, there's a picture of Clay from The Nest in 2011. We were talking about acting, and for us, and like right now, the Wilford Brimley effect is completely a thing, an attainable goal, because our entertainment doesn't work. It's more unilateral and across the board than it is go to Hollywood, audition. Eventually they'll cast you as a grandfather. Somebody will like you. Now you're a business CEO. Now you're an old guy in a retirement home who discovers aliens. Now you're a mafia informant. Because with Hollywood and like other jobs, sales and stuff like that, you're only as good as your last job. I'm only as good as my last job. Well, that's a very cutthroat way to look about it, but that's how these industries function.
Yeah.
Another tell of that is in the Pixar movies when the little green men are they do bloopers and the little green men are talking to each other between takes. What are you doing after this? Oh, I got a job as a villain in a toothpaste commercial. And the other two are like, ooh, because the other two aren't working because there's no work after Toy Story because they're still making it. It hasn't been made yet. They're starving.
Yep.
They're being waiters and cashiers and working at fast food because LA's expensive. And that's the same way that the play industry works. You have to work very hard because I'm spirit carrier number 1, and hopefully soon I hope to be spirit carrier number 2. I'm gonna, just waiting for Steve to move up the food chain so I can.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I'm worried about spirit carrier number 3 because he got more laughs than I did last scene. So it's very like selling, like sales. Did you get that Jacoby deal? No, that was Simmons. He got that deal before I did. Or the way in Liar Liar, they talk about all their, don't you know that he won that case, Leslie? It's very like that. And it translates even into defending your life. Oh, do you hear you got that guy? Oh, he's great. He uses 72% of his brain. Just came from a world filled with penis envy. Now I'm in a world filled with brain envy. I can't handle this. It's overwhelming. Well, I use 48% of my brain. Do you know how much percentage of your brain you use? 46? No, 3. I love that movie. Rip Torn was just absolutely perfect to play his defense attorney. So, yeah, the wrestlers were great. I'm trying to think of another. Oh, yes! This guy came in, and I'm looking at him, and he had a country gentleman's cap on, and he had a vest on. I thought he was steampunk at first, because there was a lot of steampunk characters out there. And, I'm gonna have to start making more steampunk videos. I will. And I'm going to have to start putting my steampunk stuff up for sale on, eBay or whatever. So I can move it out of my backyard because it's a mess. But, and I'm like, okay, you've got a lead pipe. Are you the Renaissance plumber? He's like, nope, I'm not. But I do have, and then he started naming it off. I've got the rope and the candlestick and the pipe. Oh my God, you're a living clue game. And he's like, yes. I'm like, dude, that is brilliant. And he goes, the only thing I don't have is the revolver. And then I busted up laughing because he had a tight beard, and he looked like a math teacher or like a teacher you'd have. Like a professor, or that's what he kind of. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the hell he did. We didn't talk that long.
He just needed a herringbone jacket with the elbow patch.
Yeah, but he had the vest, and he had a dark. I don't even remember what color his shirt was, and like tweed pants, and he looked sharp. And the country gentleman's cap was like a tan color. But then, because it was like, what are you? And he's like, only one other person's got it. I'm like, I'm not surprised, because at first it's like, huh? Oh, dude. Top shelf, first rate. Well done.
It's cool that the Renaissance Festival has also become a kind of a cosplay center. It works well, and it's open more than the cons, because the cons you've got to be within the confines of the convention. Yeah. So if it's a sci-fi convention, you really should have a science fiction based. If it's a horror convention, you should be doing horror, whatever the case may be.
Maniacs.
But if you get to go out to the Renaissance Festival and you can just have a good time within reason, any cosplay, you can have a good time with it.
You're going to run into people for all time periods and walks of life, and an away team from Star Trek. That's just what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you're right, because there are what we would call authenticity Nazis or auto Nazis. That's not a period belt. That's not period this. That's not period that. And they are essentially rules lawyers in D&D, but in the Renaissance world. And I would have, they probably have those in the SCA. They probably exist. I have no point of reference.
You've got the ones that go crazy. Yeah,
I plead ignorance.
In the SCA, they had, when you go to an SCA event, they have they will do costuming clinics, and people who will sit down and they will go through the entire history, and they'll show you this is what this is. The ones that I used to like were the ones that would say, okay, this is what it would look. This is a picture of traditional Viking garb or traditional medieval garb from South French, from South France, and this, and then they would stop and they say, now you're going to lose your mind trying to do this, so I'm going to show you how to do this with what you see in front of you. This stuff all came from the Goodwill. This stuff came from this. This stuff came from that. We can put this together using this and a little bit of this, and you will be where you want to be for these events.
Yeah, this costume will last maybe two. This costume will last maybe 2 seasons, and by then you better have some shit. But it's going to be falling apart during that time, so you're going to already be in the, I need a blousey, I need a chemise, I need some trews, or some knee pants, or I need a kilt, or I need, whatever you're going to wear. Because most people I've found, we were talking about this out at Ren Fair to customers, actually, but I joined a conversation that was already happened. And it was like, they're exactly right. You go out there the first year and you have all these ambitions, but all you have is a shirt, a belt, and pants. That's fine. There's no judgment out here.
Yeah.
And only a jerk would walk around and be like, oh, you're. Most people are like, hey, you're dressed up. Awesome. Because you took the time to get into it. And that's what we love out there.
Yeah.
Now, if you run around trying to steal the shows of the street characters, you're going to make enemies out there.
They're going to shut you down quick, unless you're really good. And then they might say, hey, I can use your help. Come with me. I want you to talk to...
Yeah.
Next year, you can get a job out there.
Yeah. What happens is you need to come and audition in September. Well, why can't I play now? Because you need to get into audition in September. But I'm already out here playing. You're out here as a customer, but if we just make you a street character, there's about oh God, I don't even know how many street characters there are now, because I haven't been a street character since 1999. So I don't have any point of reference of what it's like now, because that was 27 years ago. It's different now. They have lockers now, those lucky bastards. Before, you just put all your shit in your car and hoped for the best. It's fine. This stuff was fun. Or you carried it with you, or you made friends with a shop and you stored it in their back. And you would usually come through the back and then come through the back of the shop and be like, thanks again for holding my mug or my water or my clothes or my juggling pins or whatever the hell you have.
Yeah, letting me pitch my tent in the same area as you guys.
My chickens and goats and camels. Thank you for letting me keep them in the back of your shop. But with that, they're not going to let you automatically become a street character, because you have to audition like everybody else, Jack. Everybody has to audition every year to be a street character. Until they just start sending you But you kind of want to be there. You want to be at the audition to get the camaraderie. I mean, it's a couple hundred people. They have to fill 16 areas in half-hour increments and make sure there's enough people to back each other up and to be support. And because safety services is only so many people, there's only so many sheriffs out there, there's only so many staff members, and there's 9,000 customers on a slow day. On a slow day is 9,000. Put that into perspective. Think about your job. And they
have to teach you.
Oh, go ahead.
You have to learn how to move people through. I mean, a big part of it is you have your game, you have your play, you have what you're going to do. This is your bit. That's great. Yeah. But you also need to understand that during your time frame, I need you to help move people through the facility. You can't be pushing them. I don't want you grabbing people and saying, move along, move along, move along. We'll give you that role, but that's later.
Yeah, you've got to find a way to get them out of the way and be entertaining and be like in Bugs. Where I'm all full of Pixar today for some reason. Like in Bugs Life, watch my eyes, don't look away. Come on. Meanwhile, safety services is like helping the person who fell out of their electric chair or passed out from dehydration because I want to go here, I want to go there, I want to go there. Are you drinking water today? Yeah. Okay, it's like 85 degrees and you're from Wisconsin and this is just a bad idea for you to run around and be out here without sunscreen or a hat or any water. And, I mean, okay, you don't want to buy the bottled water, but you should have brought some with you. They'll let you in with that. And there's a water fountain at every bathroom, Jack. The new
And you had 3 beers already, and we need you to stop doing that because this is Arizona, and you're going to die.
Yeah. You're not.
It's not summertime yet, but you're going to die.
You're not Doc Holliday. You can't handle this. He was dying. He didn't give a shit. That's the dehydration is a big thing because you don't. It's like sunburn and snow. You don't. I mean, not that I have a lot of experience, but everything I heard is the sun is reflecting off the snow, so you need to put sunscreen on because it's hitting you at an angle that you're not used to, and it's intense. So it's like, God, I never thought about it that way, but that makes complete sense. I mean,
it's snow blind.
Yeah,
is a thing.
Term.
It's because you get that it comes in. That's why you have to have. You need a full set of glasses. Oh, I wear my sunglasses. Well, it's coming up this way, and that's why you're doing this all the damn time.
Oh, sunglasses. Thank you for reconnecting the ADD dots. Yeah, you have a costume camp out at the SCA, don't you? And then you assholes put on sunglasses and go to the Ren Fair and drink beer all day. And we can't wear sunglasses. You guys are dicks. Show up with my carpet armor and fart on you guys. Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
Because at the SCA, depending upon what part you're with, what group you're with,
what house,
most of the time during the day, you're out, you're doing your thing. So during the days when the fighting happens, when they have different events going on, things like that, and then just like at the Renaissance Festival, you guys have the close. You have 6 o'clock. Everybody's leaving. And that's the formal courts, and everybody comes, and hey, thank you very much. I'll get the hell out. At the war, usually court happens where now your king and queen and the court, the king and queen and court for the other kingdoms that are there, they will have their court event,
like a processional.
Oh, it's a full on court, and they usually have They'll have a big tent. They'll have a big feast. They'll do the whole 9 yards because that's when they bring it. Okay, and tonight we're going to say, Sir Cedric proved himself on the field of honor today, and we're going to give Sir Cedric this. We have this squire who is now going to be knighted tonight because his knight has decided that after his many years of service and his great actions today,
now elevated in rank.
They'll do the whole thing like that, and so then you have this big long court and the feast and all that, and then everybody breaks. So about 8:30, 9 o'clock, that's when party.
Gotcha.
Then everybody comes back to their camp, or you get together with your household camp, and then you have the party until you can't see straight.
Now get up and hit each other with sticks. It's the next morning. Okay.
Yep, off they go, and that was why they liked having me around. Medic.
Yeah. Oh, Frenchie has an SCA story that he heard about because he was never in the SCA, but guys that worked for him were in the SCA, and they told him a story, and then he met up with other guys that knew that guy, and then Frenchie brought up the story, and the other guys were like, "Oh my God, I was there when that happened," and Frenchie was like, "Oh my God, that was real." They were fencing with rapier or foil, and it went through the nose and up through the eye socket and almost blinded the guy. And apparently this was like one of those, getting shot stories, getting stabbed stories. So, which people have a lot of them.
for the longest time, there was a lot of things that could go on. In the early days, there were a lot of things that could go on without some of the safety equipment. So when you were fighting rapier, in the early days, some of the guys, you could get away without wearing the masks and whatnot.
Padding.
And so, yeah, no, we don't allow that. So, again, that was somebody who was the reason, who became the reason for the Monday morning safety brief. So,
Steve is the reason we have to wear all the... and they have to have the golf balls on the end of them so we don't hurt each other.
Long ago, you used to still be able to do live steel. And this is 40 years ago, they could do live steel. And it just became a thing that, that went away. It's come back, but not in the SCA. Now you have an actual live steel fighting programs that run, and they actually picked up in Europe before they came back to the United States.
Oh.
And they have full-on live steel combat, basically like MMA events around the country, all around the world.
This
guys come out in full heavy armor, and they're fighting with blunted blades.
Still
but
blades.
It's the same rules. It's the original rules that used to be used in live steel. So, if you take a certain strike, it's your honor to take that hit. And then you have marshals who are there usually with a 6 or a 7 foot pole arm. And the idea is that the marshal can, because you're in the middle of it, and your ears are ringing because you just got hit with a broadsword or an axe. And so the marshals, when you see that stick from the marshals, they'll break you up, and then they'll identify, okay, are you still with us? Okay, how many fingers? Okay, you're done.
Yeah.
Yep. So it gets interesting, and those guys can, some of those guys get a little bit out of sorts, and most of them are very good about it, like the good old days. Little John, who taught me blacksmithing, Little John was one of the guys, his old touch mark was enough that if a marshal saw his touch mark, his blades were automatically known to be valid for live steel as long as they weren't sharpened. So he was one of the few makers all those years ago that if a marshal saw his touch mark, this blade qualifies.
Passes muster.
Yeah. Anybody else, if you brought in a blade from anywhere else, then they would want to take a look at the whole. And their biggest concern is, how is it constructed? Is it constructed such that it will hold up and it's not going to snap and break in the midst of this melee? Because then it becomes much more dangerous. Somebody else can get harmed because you've got a 36-inch broadsword. Yeah, and it breaks, and now you've got an exposed sharpened edge that you can do some serious harm to somebody.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yep.
Wait a minute. Wasn't it called Aidenvelt? That was
Aidenvelt is one of the that's one of the kingdoms in the SCA.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the Principality
of
the Sun.
Yeah. Yep. So there's a number of kingdoms across the country.
Yes, that I know. I've seen the map a couple times.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Usually the war comes on the weekend of Valentine's Day, but I didn't pay much attention this year. I haven't been out to the war. God, I haven't been out to a war since Little John passed. So.
Which year was that?
That was when the boys were younger. So, was that 2014?
Wow,
2015. Yeah, so it's been a while since I've been out to the wars, and that was the last time I was out. Was when John came out and he took Ace with him for the entire war.
Really?
So John came out to visit, and then he asked me in advance. He said, "Do you think?"
Sorry.
He said, "Do you think Ace would like to go with me to the war?" Shit, Ace would love to go with you to the war.
Yeah.
He says, well, can I take him for the whole war? I said, John, if you want to take him for the whole war, that's great. How much money do you want me to give you to help cover his? He says, no,
food and toiletries.
I want him.
Clothes.
No. He's like, no, he's covered. He's covered. He just got to bring himself and his stuff, and he's going to work for me. So I got it okayed with his mother, and he went out and had a field. It was the greatest adventure he had ever had at that point in his life. And John had him out there setting up tents and had him help him make things and do all kinds of stuff. And John had brought me that year a whole deer hock. So the whole rear hind of a deer that he had taken in West Virginia. And so I didn't tell them. I went and bought a big stock pot, cooked down all the deer meat off of the bone, cut up the bone, got all the marrow out, and I made this huge pot of venison chili.
Nice.
And I took it out there. Didn't tell them. Just went out there to visit. I said, okay, I got something. So Ace came back with me. And so the two of us are carrying this pot, a big stock pot.
Nice.
Carrying this pot, and I set it down and I said, this is the deer meat that you gave me this year. So this is for you guys. And we open it up, and John's like, oh, is this what I think it is? Yep, it's Papa's chili. And so we put it on the fire. It started to warm up and everything. People from all around could smell it
everywhere.
And John's like, well, the only thing he says, I don't have any bowls. I don't have any bowls and stuff like that. Because he usually he brought the stuff to make, he would cook beef and pork and chicken and whatever.
Just has plates and stuff, yeah.
And so I go walking around, and there was a guy who did woodworking.
Oh, nice.
That was a friend of John's. And I went over and I said, hey, I need to get some bowls. How many bowls did you bring this year? I'll buy the bowls. And do you have any of your wooden spoons? He said, yeah, what's going on? I said, well, my son here is working with Little John. He goes, oh, yeah, I met your son. How? Nice. So, well, I brought a whole bunch of chili for the guys to eat, but they don't have any bowls and spoons. And he looked at me and said, what kind of chili? I said, well, John brought me some venison.
What kind of chili?
And so basically the guy gave me half off of all the bowls
because he wanted chili.
If he could have some, if he and his wife could come over and have some. And I'm like, well, yeah, I don't think John would give a shit.
New best friends.
So the next thing you know, I go walking over with the guy. His wife stayed at their tent where they were
they're selling stuff.
Shop. And he goes walking with me over, and we're carrying. We must have been carrying like 10 of these bowls that he had made. And John's like, "What the hell did you do?" Well, so I bought the bowls, and he kind of traded me half the cost of the bowls if he and his wife can enjoy some of the chili. And John's like, "Oh hell yeah, have a seat." I knew that, He says, "I was going to let you know anyway."
Yeah, we'll take some back to her, and then we'll sit down and eat this.
So,
that's awesome.
Well, what they did was because they usually close up the area in the evening.
Yeah.
After it gets dark, it usually runs to like 7 or 8, and then they close up Merchant's Row.
Oh, okay. All right.
And so they all came down, and John told me, because I left, and then he brought Ace back that Sunday, and they were telling me the stories, because he said they had everybody showed up. He said there was 0 chili left. He said, but nobody went away hungry. Mm. He said it was great. He said it was a hit. Everybody was happier than hell.
That was awesome.
And Ace just thought that was the greatest time in the world. That was because Ace is the one that had the stroke in the womb, so he has the left-sided disability. And John took him out there. John was telling me later that he would have Ace doing things. He had Ace putting up one of his big pavilion tents,
right on,
which is what he would use. They lived in the back, and then the front was for the shop. And he said he told Ace, he said, "I want you to go over and put that post in the end." And the guys that were there with him were like, "Oh, well, I'm going to go over and help him." John told me, he says, no, I told him, stop. Let him do it. If he needs help, he'll ask you.
Yeah.
But don't go over and help him just because you see him doing it. And they're, oh, okay. And Ace was not aware of any of this at the time. But after he's like, that was all I heard. I got to put up the tent, and I got to work on this, and I got to do that, and I got to go over here, and I got.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And that was, he loved it because, you could see it in his eyes. It was the first time in a long time that he had been treated like one of the guys.
Yeah.
Not my disabled son. He was Ace.
A valued member of the crew, yeah.
Ace, I need you to do this. Okay. Off he went.
Super apprentice.
So, yeah, that one,
awesome.
That really touched me. And John's like, I knew he needed it. I knew he wanted it. And I let him do it.
Right on. That's awesome. How are you doing?
Oh, it's that time.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired, and I think Clay passed out a while ago. So he might just still be in dark mode. Which
it is pumping.
Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. Stay geeky. Shout out to Body and Soul Candles. Clay, Rob, do you have any shout outs?
My shout out would be today was another St. Mary's Food Bank Day. And I will say that St. Mary's is having more difficulty getting volunteers.
Really?
So if you have the opportunity to go out just one day, show up. They do 2 shifts each day. They start at 9 o'clock in the morning till 11. I think they go at 1 to 3. You're packing food boxes. You're helping. Today I did something I hadn't done ever before. We were doing bread boxes, but we didn't have enough people to do 2 full lines. So we did bread boxes and a regular thing. And the regular line was being done by a local junior ROTC squad from one of the high schools.
Oh, nice.
So I was disappointed because it used to be that you would see, we would have more than enough people. We would have people looking for things to do. And this time that wasn't the case. So if you have the opportunity, volunteer at your local food bank, help out these folks, because it's getting to be a case where there's more and more people needing a little bit of help.
It's, it's sometimes times are good, sometimes times are not so good, but we just got to step up and, like you said, volunteer when you can and try to help out in your community. How about your friends?
Give a couple of hours of your time, and then it's. I joke with the people down there and with people that ask me, it's absolutely the best value in CrossFit you'll ever find, because you're not paying for it, and you're down there and you get to hang out with 100 of your closest friends that you never met before, and it's a party and music and everybody's having fun.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
We do thank you for watching the Supreme Council of the Master Geeks Launch. You could have watched anybody, but you decided to watch us, and we really thank you for that. Come out and see us at the Arizona Renaissance Festival, because Crystal Cast is the Pirate Splendor. But see as many shows as you can. Clay, do you want to say goodbye? Episode 59, like and subscribe, and have an absolutely wonderful night. You have a good night, sir. Have a good night, Clay.
You too. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right.